because there's some videos here that we want to show the people. J-Mo speaking, Frank Ragnow, Alim McNeill. We'll get to Alim first. He spoke about Hutch, Levi O. So we'll get to Alim, and then we'll get to the rest of the players. But here's Alim McNeill speaking on the famous Levi Onwuzurike, the fan favorite
draft class
together.
I mean, you know what he's been through to get back and what it took last year. What are you seeing different for him this year?
Levi, he just looks like he looks like he feels a lot better about himself. He's completely healthy. He just feels really good, and he's just being Levi. That's what Levi always was. He just wanted to make sure he got back to where he was. So what I'm seeing from Levi is what we know Levi has, and he's really doing his thing. He's doing his thing. So I'm very happy for him.
What have you seen from Aiden going into year 3 and the growth that he's shown this offseason?
That's kind of self-explanatory, honestly. Aiden is Hutch. That's Hutch. He's going to grow tremendously each year. So Aiden's been doing his thing ×2 this year. So, yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory. If you come out here every day, you're going to see a better Hutch. So.
Sorry if you asked this already, but what have you seen from Broderick Martin?
Shout the doc.
You're getting more acclimated and doing things with it.
Can't wait to see this man.
Yeah, a lot more confidence. In knowing what he's doing within the scheme. That was kind of a big thing. When you know what you're doing, you can play a lot faster. You don't have to think about things. So just him knowing his game, he knows what he has to do now. So he can just, he don't have to think about it. He just got to work on his technique. He can get into guys now. So, yeah, just a lot more confidence now.
Roger,
yeah.
baby.
Well, Frank also spoke about the D-line, so let's hear what Frank had to say.
They all seem to be – I think that new coach has been great for them, and they all seem to be a little bit more twitchy, a little bit more dynamic. I think playing and less thinking. That's just from what I've seen, but they've all been really impressive.
Levi is a guy who's gone through some injury struggles of his own. How great is it to not just compete against him, but see him healthy and kind of see the steps he's taking?
100%. I mean, that's a guy who I got a lot of respect for him because dealing with that back thing is no joke in real life, not even playing football, and then playing football with that to come back. And he's looked really good, really twitchy, strong, explosive, and just a great dude, so I'm happy for him.
A lot of Levi praise today.
I'm happy for
Frank and Alim.
You better show it first, Levi. But to their point, like what Frank said towards the end, as far as coming back from that back injury, it's something serious. So what we were saying about Broderick earlier about getting in shape, Levi's also done the same. So again, if he's out there week 1, you're not going to hear me, watch Levi out there. Like, all right, Levi, let's see it, because it's year 4 for him, because he was the first draft class. So year 3, year 4, it's time for let's see what he got. I'm not praying on his downfall, but I'm definitely skeptical about the trending upwards. Like I need to see it first for sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want DJ Reader to miss any time, and we hope he could be there week 1. But I mean, him not being there, you're kind of going to be able to see what you have behind those guys and see how ready that Broderick Martin, how ready a Levi is. So I mean, I was kind of with Lucas. I didn't have very confidence going into this training camp or this season as far as Levi goes. But when you hear good things, when like Alim and Frank and even Brad Holmes are talking how they're excited to see him going, it's good things to hear. Rather,
it's day 1. They kept saying, "Booner, wait for pads. We'll see what Broderick is like. Wait for pads. Wait for pads." Pads were here day 1 after the practice. One of the best players on the team, Frank Ragnow, goes up against them every single day. Levi, absolute dog. Dude's twitchy. He looks good. He's back. Levi, back. Terrell Williams, absolute dog. Has this defensive line. Has this defensive line buzzing. Like these guys, he said Williams has them twitchy. They look good. In the past, this defensive line, all they're thinking about was, am I going to be a bust in this league? Can I play? Am I still a good football player? All the defensive line coaches gone, bringing the best in the NFL. They brought the best defensive line coach in the NFL. He sat them down. He said, first of all, let's get rid of the Aquara brothers. Let's push them out. Let's get rid of those guys. Let's bring in some absolute dogs in here. And now they have some dogs in here. And he just sat them down and said, just go out there and play football. You're in the NFL for a reason. You did it in college. Do it here. Just go get the quarterback. Lose some weight. Get in shape. Be an absolute dog. And go get the quarterback. And that's what he's doing now. Like and he's teaching them techniques. Like, I like Terrell Williams. I hope I see him on Wednesday. I'll give him a big hug. Just like they said, he's a teddy bear. Give that man a hug.
He'll be throwing you off like a rag doll.
And then I'll say, look how twitchy that was, coach. Like, look at I mean, what are we doing here? He's got this D-line buzzing, dude. He's got
they probably just trust him. I mean, if you trust your coaching, like Frank said, that it looks like they're doing a lot less thinking and just more playing. I mean, when I was like, I know it's obviously not to the extreme, but just from the difference in being coached from high school to college, like it's just like if you just aren't even have the time to think about what the coach is saying, you're just listening and you're going. It just lets you. Your development is so much quicker just because you don't have time to judge it. You only have time to see it. So if you get a guy up there like Terrell Williams who can just show you like, hey, you trust these guys and you see what I've done before, let me do the same thing with you, and you just go out there and play ball for him. I think he's going to develop him. It's just because he can dumb down the game for him. It probably just was so much like overcomplication with the coaching staffs before, but Terrell Williams has just been around long enough to know this is what works. Here, do this. It's simple. All right, get that accomplished. Then we can kind of add on to it. But he's probably just going through all the fundamentals right now and just finding these guys' games out for themselves.
Yeah, his voice commands like a different level of respect because of what he's done in this league. It's like, I mean, no offense to the human being, John Scott, but, John Scott versus Terrell Williams. It's like there's a different level of respect from a player. If I'm Aiden Hutchinson, I'm working out in the offseason. I'm seeing some of the best defensive line gurus in the country to work on my game. So when I come back to training camp, I want my defensive line coach to be at that level. Like I'm seeing the best in the country. And then you get back and you're like, oh, this guy, I mean, it's like, okay, thanks. Teaching me a thing or two. I mean, I've already heard it, whatever. Terrell Williams, I think he's to that level to where when he says something, Aiden's like, oh yeah. That's why I think even players like Broderick and Levi, Alim, they're all going to benefit. And even Davenport. But I think Aiden will definitely benefit from him, even though he's already really good. But I think his presence, Terrell's presence, can kind of elevate him maybe to even another level. So I think Terrell Williams is one of my favorite hires. Honestly, like Ben Johnson, obviously the best hire as an assistant. And you got guys like Scotty Montgomery and Antoine Randall, but I think Terrell Williams, when it's all said and done, he's going to be up there. The impact he makes on these guys.
Hey, one thing that has to be known as well, too, is like you brought Terrell Williams in, right? The last couple of years, your defensive line group has been very young, like extremely young. Like the Aquara brothers, they were still on the I don't know if they were on the rookie deals, but like they were. Like, I think actually one of them got paid pretty well. But
yeah, Romeo got paid.
But these guys didn't have a ton of experience, and you go look at like a John Kaminsky, not a ton of experience. Like he was going around the league a little bit and landed in Detroit and ended up having a good year as a backup and got his contract. Like Aiden Hutchinson, year 3, where he's still kind of young. Alim McNeill just is having a breakout year last year. Like there was really like you were bringing in random vets like throughout the season. But now you have a guy like, even if DJ Reader's not playing right now, he's out there on the field teaching these guys stuff. He's teaching Broderick Martin what to do, and he's going into year 9 or year 10. And same with a guy like Marcus Davenport, who's going into year 7, 8, or something like that. Like these guys have been in the NFL. They know what it takes. They know like you heard Broderick or Alim there talking about. Oh no, actually we didn't hear it, but earlier at some point in that interview, he talked about having Davenport there and how Davenport's it talks to him all the time and is teaching him different things. And same with DJ Reader's out there teaching him stuff. So like these guys are, like they're taking a step forward. And I think partially of it is Terrell Williams, and you have actual legit veterans in that room who have been successful in this league and who have, whether or not they've won Super Bowls or not, they've put up numbers one way or another at some point in their career in this league. And they know what it takes. So now you're starting to teach that to guys like Levi. Oh, you're starting to put Josh Pascal around guys like that. Broderick Martin, like James Houston, like guys are starting to learn a little bit. And Terrell Williams gives them a lot of confidence, I think. So I think it's a different defensive line than we. I know I've been one that's saying like that's one of the biggest worries on this team is that other edge group. I think it might be a little bit better than we've been thinking.